With the year 2026 coming pretty soon as of the recording of this video, there's a lot of things to be excited for the superhero slash comic book scene. Movies like Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday look very fun and interesting. Maybe not good, but they look very interesting and intriguing. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of great comic book lines. I don't know about video games. I think Marvel Rivals is still going to dominate in 2026. But the one that I want to talk about kind of the most is Invincible Season 4 coming out in March 2026. And I say kind of because obviously this is not the main topic of this video. I just brought it up because I think one of my favorite things about this show is that it expanded the indie scene. It's shown to people that, hey, you don't need Marvel or DC for only superhero slash comic book scenes. But one of the things that I kind of hate about this movie is that for whatever reason, it gave Robert Kirkman the idea that, hey, we should still pursue doing a live action Invincible movie. And I don't think it's a good idea. Hi, my name is Omari Toa. I do anything and everything when it comes to comic books, movies, TV shows, and video games. So if you like videos like that, please make sure to subscribe. We're trying to fit the nerdy, geeky vibe for this channel. So if that interests you, not only should you subscribe, but you should also press the notification so you never miss a video. And if you like the video at any point, please give it a like. I really want to grow in 2026, and I can't do that without you. So let's cut the jibber jabber and let's get straight to the point. Why don't I think an Invincible live action movie is a good idea? It was announced in 2017 that they were going to do a Invincible live action movie, and the reason why I think it didn't happen is because they didn't know the budgeting or the casting, so they just decided to just do the show, which thank God that they did, because as I said, Invincible is one of my favorite shows of all time. But that doesn't matter what's my favorite or not. What matters is Invincible, right? The thing that I like about this show is that it takes its time adapting the comic books, because man, if you go to any comic book shop, there's like huge omnibuses that they have to adapt, and even one omnibus is pretty hard to adapt throughout a season. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that they have to adapt, and so when you do a show platform, especially animated, it becomes easier to adapt things from pages to screen. So I think them not being able to do a live action movie back in 2018-19 really helped, accelerate the idea of Invincible succeeding amongst the people, because well, they did the show, and the show is amazing, and it brought people like me and introduced me to the indie scene, right? So when you do a show to movie platform, you all of a sudden have less time and less resources to adapt. So now everything has to be condensed, and sometimes it is a good idea because there's a lot of comic books that are unfortunately fillers, right, that you can cut off or that you can merge. The Invisible has so many comic books that I don't think one movie or even 3 movies can cover one omnibus. It is that big, right? It's that big of a lore. It's been more than a decade that it took Robert Kirkman to write the entirety of the Invincible storyline. So yeah, that is one of my main concerns, and I automatically don't like it. Another thing is, who's going to play these characters? The voice actors? If the voice actors are going to play the god, I can't see J.K. Simmons playing Omni-Man. He can voice him. He is the voice of Omni-Man. Just can't see him wearing those spandex Omni-Man suit, or Steven Yeun being a teenager. I can't see that, You can say maybe Seth Rogen as a CGI Alan the Alien, sure, but the point that I'm trying to say is most of the cast cannot play a live action version of their characters. And if you're going to replace them, who's going to do a better job than J.K. Simmons voicing or acting, portraying, adapting Omni-Man? I don't think there's many people that can do it. Same thing with Invincible. Same thing with Cecil. I think Walton Goggins can still play a live action Cecil. So he can play that. But you get the point. A lot of these characters, I just don't see them be portrayed better in live action movie with lesser time and not as good of a cast. And another thing is the budgeting. They're already cheap on the show. They're very cheap with the animators. The animation doesn't look good at times, and you can tell that. You can see it on a lot of episodes. When they're not the big episodes, the animation is kind of lackluster. And if they're going to be cheap with the show, I imagine they're probably going to be cheap on the movie, because also they're going to have to use, not maybe not have to, but for sure they're going to use AI. Now every company is investing in AI. I don't know if the AI bubble is going to burst or not, but we're not an economics channel, okay? So we're not going to discuss about that. But if they're going to work on the live action show, the live action movie, sorry, they're for sure using AI. And I already hate the idea of seeing AI scenes in huge blockbuster movies. And I swear to God, if it's going to be a freaking system where you have to type in a prompt to get a live action Invincible movie, I am going to hate the living damn from Amazon. And I know they're going to do that. So I already know they're going to be very greedy and very stingy when it comes to the budget. They're not going to be able to cover a lot of things from the main source itself, which is the comic books, and even a trilogy, right? Because there's so much lore, you can't just cut it, and you're not going to have as good of a cast. And another thing that I thought of just right now, is it going to be connected to the show or not connected? If it's going to be connected to the show, then is it going to be before season 1, after whatever season is finished? Is it going to be in between seasons? Is it going to be somewhere in season 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? We may never know. I don't know. But either way, I think it's bad, because if you do it being canonically with the TV show universe, then where are you going to fit it? If you're going to do it before everything and anything, right, now you're going to have to deal with very restricted writing. And sure, many have done successfully prequels, right? But some haven't. And most of the time they haven't because they want to do great ideas, but they're just restricted on it. And I just don't trust a lot of prequels. You know, they're going to be very safe and cookie cutter and not useful watching. If you're going to do anywhere in between those seasons, then you're going to have a lot of retconning issues, because you're for sure going to make a mistake. And if you don't make a mistake, then okay, you make a huge battle in the live action movie. Why wasn't that mentioned in the seasons that are ahead of it? And if you're going to do after the finalization of the show, then the question becomes, if you know anything about the ending of the Invincible comic book run, there's really nothing for Mark to do after finishing the show, after finishing the comic book. Unless they finish it in a way different way, which we don't know, right? Apparently season 4 is going to be nothing like anything in the comic book. So, hey, we don't know how it's going to end, right? But assuming it ends just like the comic books, what are you going to do after? What is there after in the universe? There's nothing to invest in. You can't really do much more. Most of the main characters, they died or they're aged, and it just doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Let's say it has nothing to do with the show and you want to do it separate from the show. Okay, when are you going to release it? And it's important because I think they should not release it anywhere near the release of the final season. Right now, Invincible is in a stage where people are just getting into it. If you do a movie, the only audience that you're trying to also gain is like the geezers, the baby boomers, the millennials, the old geezers. And I think it's too early for it. I think you need to let the show breathe a little bit. Not a little bit, 10 years. Give it some time when the hype and the viewership and the attention that the Invincible universe is getting is lowering down slowly, then you announce the movie and you do the movie. Then I will be supportive of it, given that they can somehow, some way solve all the other problems. But if you're going to do it in like 2030, that's too soon in my opinion. If you're going to do it like a year or two after the final season, that's too soon. And so I don't like it. And yeah, this is my little rant It's not little, it's probably 10 minutes, but that is my rant. I think it's a bad idea because they're not going to have as good of a cast. And if they bring the same cast, it's a huge mistake. I can't see JK being Omni-Man. I'm sorry. So the cast is not going to be as good. They're going to be very stingy and very greedy when it comes to spending on the show. So they're not going to spend a lick of dime. I mean, okay, they're going to spend, but they're not going to spend like 200, 300 million on it, or even 400 million. They're going to try to spend 50 million for a blockbuster movie. And, you know, they're not going to have a lot of time to cover a lot of the topics within the universe. And also, as I said, where are you going to fit it? If it's going to be in the universe of the show, then it's going to be very complicated. If it's not, then I think it's too soon to do this. And I think you need to let the show breathe and then do the movie. Yeah, that is it for the video. As I said, if you did enjoy the video at any point, please like the video. And don't also forget to subscribe if you enjoy videos like this. Press notifications. With that out of the way, see you in the next video. Goodbye.